Okay, I believe we should be going live. So welcome everyone to this webinar on studying a degree in business and economics here in Sweden. My name is Adam. I'm here at the Swedish Institute in Stockholm, and I'm joined by two students. And we're going to have a nice little webinar for 1 hour where we'll be presenting some of our experience and then answering questions. So let me see here. I'll share my screen with you guys. So this is just our webinar and live stream schedule. So we've gone through some of our webinars already. We've done life science, engineering, IT, and now we're doing the last one on business and economics. And all the old ones, if you want to access them, are on our YouTube page, youtube.com/studyinSwedenOfficial. There'll be a link sent to everyone participating after this event. And on the 1st of December, we'll do our last webinar, which is a special one on the application and admission process. And we're joined by colleagues from the central admission organization in Sweden. So they'll help answer all your questions about how to apply to a university in Sweden. So sign up for that one. There's a link under the YouTube video, and there's a link sent to everyone participating on Zoom as well. Great, but today we are going to talk about studying a degree in business and economics in Sweden. And we are joined by two students, so I'll let them just say hi. We have Magdalena.
Hello, I'm Magdalena. I am from Lithuania and I'm studying a master's program in Jönköping University. It's in a business administration program in digital business.
Great, and we have Syed as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Syed and I'm from India. I'm doing my master's in international business at Stockholm School of Economics. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks. So they'll be sharing their experience soon. And then after that, we'll have a Q&A session. And we'll answer all your questions about studying in Sweden, especially studying a degree in business and economics. So already now, submit your questions over Zoom or in the YouTube chat. My colleague Hannah is already active and writing answers to you guys, and then we'll bring up some of the questions and ask our students here today after the presentations. But please send in questions already. And yes, I just wanted to start by quickly giving you a background on studying in Sweden. And yes, so Sweden is this lovely country where we're at right now. And it's a great place to live, to study. And basically, in brief, you could say that we are a big country with a small population. It's quite a big area, Sweden, but the population is only 10 million. So we have quite a lot of space. And wherever you are in Sweden, you are kind of surrounded by this wilderness, by really nice nature. Even if you're in one of the biggest cities, you will have nature right around the corner. You'll be close to the sea. So it's a really nice and peaceful place. And we have 39 really outstanding universities as well, where you can study here in Sweden. One good thing to know as an international student is that English is really all you need to be a student in Sweden. Almost everyone in Sweden knows English, and you can communicate freely with using English. And at the universities, the programs that are taught in English are like really taught in English. You don't need to know any Swedish to get by at the university. So that's really great. If you want to learn some Swedish, that's really useful when you're looking for a job, perhaps, or if you want to get more into the Swedish culture, but it's never necessary in your day-to-day life. So some words on studying in Sweden. And let's talk a bit about that, because that's the topic of today. We have programs at all levels. So we have about 100 programs at bachelor level taught in English. But even more, we have 1,000 programs at master level in English. So that's mainly where you will find a lot of programs. And we have 1 year and 3 year programs at master level, and then there are 3 year programs at bachelor level. You can find all these programs if you search on our website, studyinsweden.se. There's a program search where you can search all the universities, and it'll show you just like what programs are relevant for you. So that's a great place to start. Just a few quick words on the application process. You apply online and at universityadmissions.se. That's the central website where you can apply for almost all the universities. You can apply for 4 master programs or 8 bachelor programs at the same time. And you do everything online. You submit your documents online, and you have to do that before the 15th of January. In April, you will receive your admissions results, and then in late August, the academic year starts. So somewhere in between there, you also apply for your residence permit or visa to be able to come to Sweden. There are some scholarships available. My organization, the Swedish Institute, offers scholarships for certain countries, especially at master level. And there are very specific requirements for our scholarships. We usually require that you have work experience. So that's a very specific type of scholarship. And the application process is roughly at the same time as when you apply for programs. Then there are also university specific scholarships. So you should really look into the university you want to apply to and check what kind of scholarships they can offer you. And it might cover part of the tuition fee or the whole tuition fee or a specific amount. It differs from university to university. And just some brief words on the English language requirements. This is a rough guide to the minimum levels, but it also varies from program to program. So you really need to check the program you're interested in and just check exactly which requirements they have. But this is roughly what you need. And usually you can do an internet-based exam as well. You can contact your university for more information on that, but that might be good to know now, when you might not be able to go to a place to do an English exam. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this first part of the presentation. I just wanted to show you some of our official resources. We have, as I mentioned before, our very own official website, studyinsweden.se, where you'll find basically all the information about applying to study in Sweden and studying in Sweden, how to apply for a residence permit, what the fees and costs are, the kind of scholarships available, basically everything you want to know is available there. We also offer a bunch of social medias where you can learn more about what it's like to be a student in Sweden right now. We have international student ambassadors who are sharing their experience. So you can go on our blog page, you can go on YouTube, you can go on Facebook, Instagram. If you're in China, you can go to our Weibo or Weixin at Liu Shi Radian. Yes, and that is pretty much it. So with that, I am going to hand over to our first student representative today, Magdalena or Maggie. Welcome.
Yeah. Hello, thank you for the screen, and hello everyone. So I'm Magdalena, but everyone here calls me Maggie because it's so much easier for every single language speaking person. I've studied bachelors in Jönköping University from 2016 to 2019 in marketing management. And then the university started offering a new program called digital business, which for me was everything. Because I'm such a technology freak and I love everything about technology. And since my career is going to be connected to business, I thought it was an excellent opportunity to not miss. So that's about me. Now let's get into the classroom experience in Jönköping University. So to begin with, the content of the classes in bachelor's degree, I'd say it was more theory. So there's always a bit of practical tasks in courses, but it's mostly based on theory. And if we go back to the previous slide,
Oops.
The previous slide. Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's mostly theory, but on master's degree, it's much more practical and it's much more of your own thinking and your own input, like it should be in master's degree. And then when it comes to auditoriums, they're all different sizes. There can be for 15 people, they can be for 500 people. It depends what course it is and how important direct communication is for that course. So for instance, if the course is something like macroeconomics, where there's a lot of students, the auditorium might be big, but for practical solution exercises, they would split us up into 50 people classes. So the auditoriums always changed. And then the teacher-student relationships, well, that's an interesting thing in Sweden, which was a completely different case in Lithuania, where I come from, is that teacher-student relationships are super close. Teachers are not seen as higher or more important than students. Everyone is equal, and the environment is really, really relaxed in the classes. So then phones and laptops, that was also a new thing for me, is that there are no restrictions in the university to use phones or laptops at any time. So if it helps you study, you can use anything at whenever you want. But if you decide that Facebook or Instagram is, for instance, a little bit more important, which we all sometimes do, it's kind of on you to catch up later or not miss the most important parts. So it's not forbidden, but it's on you for missing the information. Then the international vibe I wrote down. Well, the university, my university, I think has 4,000 international students, and that's a whole lot. So when it comes to bachelor degree, there's more Swedish people, but in master degrees, there's mostly internationals. And in my course, I would say there's more German people than Swedish people, which is quite funny from my perspective. And then the last thing is that last year we converted to Zoom because of coronavirus, and it kind of changed the experience just a little bit, but it's still doable, and we have to go through this, and hopefully you're not going to have to study in this environment in the future. So I'm not going to get into that too much. Okay, so for the next slide, we have the facilities. So the studying facilities are 24/7. They're always open, and students with their access cards can access at any time. So if your housemates in your dorm tend to be a bit noisy, it's really not a problem. You can go to the university at any time and study there. If your computer is not very capable of running certain statistics programs or whatever you do, whatever you need, there's computers in the university that, of course, you can use at any time. There's also an ability to book private rooms with whiteboards, chairs, whatever sizes you need, everything is provided. And what I thought was super important to mention in this presentation is the pre-exam period vibe. So basically, when the preparation for exams starts, so 1 week before the exams, you can, at 12 o'clock in the night, you can go to the university and see so many people all walking with their hoodies, girls with no makeup, everyone looking super messy. And it's just one of the most important experiences for me, is just seeing this complete silence and just people walking around and studying and doing their own thing. I think it's one of the most beautiful experiences for me. And then, of course, new friends. You can always find new friends if you hang out at the university. So university is like a mingling facility as well. Okay, so the next slide is the project. So I think it would be interesting for most of you to know how projects work, because that's the practical part of your studies. So first of all, it's the university, my university, Jönköping University, provides an ability to work with local companies, which are real companies, real cases, and the work you do for them, they can actually use and utilize. So it's actually meaningful work and not just doing something for no reason or learning purposes. It's quite higher than that. So it gives you kind of more motivation. Then we also have relevant case studies and significant case studies. And what I meant by that is that the case studies we receive are so important later in your practical life. So when you start working, the case studies that you've learned before, they actually stay with you, whereas the theory you learned sometimes goes away. So it's a really, really important thing, and I really appreciate it because everything's still in my head. And now that I have interviews or I work with other companies, I can actually use those examples that I learned. Then group formations. Groups are always really international. Sometimes they're randomized, so you don't know who you're gonna get set with. You can be set with 4 Swedish people, or 4 Indian people, or 4 German people, or you can be all mixed up. You never know. And that's, I think, the beauty of it, is that you get to experience every single way of having of collaborating. But later during the years, you get to choose your own group instead. So that makes it a bit easier for the more heavy courses, where you want to be around people that you can work with easier. And then the seminar rooms are also super provided with everything. It's no big deal. It's super provided with everything. And they're really, the seminar, kind of the way seminars work is you're in a room with only 30 people and everyone's talking at the same time. And you might think it's a bit chaotic, but it isn't. It's actually the most productive group experience I've ever encountered. Okay, so now we can go to the next one, which is alternative ways of learning. In my bachelor's degree, I didn't quite have this. It only came in master's degree, because in bachelor's, I would, want to be with my friends as much as possible. And then when the deadlines come, just study my head off. And, it was black or white all the time. But in your master's degree, you become a bit more relaxed, and the projects that you have to do are a bit more logical, so they require some time to think about them. So what we discovered is that a great way of learning is going to a bar and having your laptops there, or playing a game of pool and talking about the case studies that you've received and that you have to solve. So it's a really interesting experience that I've only encountered in Sweden as well. So the next slide then. Yeah, so for my bachelor's, I actually went for an exchange semester, which is provided in all degrees in my university. I mean, all bachelor degrees in business administration. So I went to Barcelona, and it was really eye-opening and really amazing. It was really fun and international as it can be. So you as a student are able to go wherever you want from all the partner universities, which are basically all over the world. You can go to Brazil if you want, you can go to Australia if you want. I went to Barcelona because it's Europe, but it's warm Europe, so you're kind of in your safe zone, but you can also experience a new climate, something new. So if we go to the next slide, I've actually compared my experiences in 3 different countries. I did a little Excel table. So when it comes to practical experience, Sweden compared to Lithuania and Spain is number 1. There's the most practical experience you can get. And I talked to people that study bachelor's and master's in Lithuania or Spain, and it's never as much as Sweden. When it comes to hard knowledge, of course, in Lithuania, we crammed too much. In Sweden and Spain, it's a bit more relaxed, or mañana. The international experience was better in Sweden and Spain, and it was a unique experience everywhere. And of course, I had to include the weather because it's such an important aspect of life, I'd say. So yeah, Spain wins on that one. So
very interesting.
And then for my master's, there was a compulsory international internship. So we all had to go out of Sweden and find internships ourselves. So it was a challenge, at the same time an opportunity. So I found an internship in Telia in Lithuania. So I kind of went back. I went a bit sneaky there, but I thought that my Barcelona experience already fulfills my need for international stuff. So I went back to Lithuania, to Telia, to do my internship. It was 3 months. I received an Erasmus grant because I'm a European citizen traveling in Europe. It was a sustainability internship, which I thought was really nice, that they allowed us to open up our horizons a little bit more and choose something that's not digital business per se, but something that we're interested in and we can connect to digital business. It was an extremely modern company. I was very close to the to the highest management. So it was an amazing experience, and I'm really happy our university forced us to do it. And the internship report I wrote was quite eye-opening, and it made me realize that that I am actually a professional, that my bachelor's and my master's degree prepared me to be a professional and to have really, really, really strong insights about what my experience is. So that's about my internship. The next slide is what probably most of you are interested in, is work in parallel to studies. So when I came here, my parents sent me money, but of course it's never enough. So I needed to find a part-time job. So after maybe half a year of looking for it, I found one in a warehouse. So you can see a picture of other students and me, of course, messing around in a warehouse. We were really, really good workers, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, we were students and we would have to, be, happy or whatever. So I did find a job. It was part-time. It was 5 hours every single day, and I could choose whether I want to work which days. So before exams, I could even say I don't want to work this week, or I could say I only want to work Monday. But after exams, I could say I want to work every day, and they would give me the job. So, and the salary was actually quite good. So it's after tax, I think it goes from 11 euros to maybe 15 euros for that kind of position in a warehouse. And then I actually found opportunities within the university, working as a student ambassador, I think, and we would get paid for that. And then I got noticed and started working as an office assistant. And then I got a job as a teaching assistant in my master's degree. So definitely there's a lot of part-time work opportunities. You just need to look for them. So the next slide. Student life is like everywhere. Financials are tight, but they're manageable. The dorms are old, but you can make them cozy. The friends are always there. And yeah, the stress is something you have to deal with, but it's always a part of university. So next. Social life perks is that you're never alone. It's impossible to be lonely. You always have friends that are hanging out in your balcony. You have a lot of like-minded people, and everyone just wants to help and is here to help. You get new connections that you're definitely going to use in the future, and new job opportunities which come from these exact friends. So social life perks, 100%. Next. And the student way of relaxation, of course. They asked us to hold down on this one because it's, for me, for my bachelor's at least, it was the biggest part of my university experience. But yeah, the student way of relaxation is always to go out and experience the city, experience other cities, and always, whenever we had a little bit of a time off, we would use it directly. And yeah, you would meet so many different people with so many different perspectives towards life, so many different priorities, and it's just amazing. So I just had to add this picture of my friend cutting tomatoes because it represents the middle of the night university experience the best it could. Okay, so the next one is that the friendships that you build in university, they are for life, and I would never exchange them to anything else in the world. And the next one. The finale is that I got juicy connections, a juicy diploma that opens so many doors because it's an international university, some juicy memories, which I will never forget and will tell my kids, obviously, and juicy future possibilities. And that's it. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Maggie. That's very nice. And I'll move straight on to our second speaker. Let's see here. Yes, Syed. Okay, take it away.
Yeah, hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Syed, and for those of you who join later, so I'm from India, and I'm doing my master's in international business at Stockholm School of Economics. So prior to doing this, I did another master's in engineering. So I come from a different background, and I see that one of you asked a question if it is possible to change your field. So yes, that answers your question, I guess. So I did mechanical engineering before, master's as well as bachelor's, and I came to Sweden first in 2016, and I fell in love with the country. I was here for 2 years and then went back to India. I missed it so much that I decided to come back, and yeah, so I'm back studying and looking forward to the future. Okay, so some of the advantages, I think it has already been discussed before, but I will still go through it. The most important thing is programs are taught in English, and so it's really important for me, especially coming from India and not knowing any other European language. So it was really attractive for me to choose Sweden. And the other thing is many people here in Sweden speak in English. Since coming from India, and as Maggie also mentioned, that in Lithuania also it is the same thing, and also in India that the more like students are more into individual like the assessment is mostly based on individual assignments and not on group work, especially in India. So it's mostly examination based. But with masters, I may not, I don't know about bachelors, but here in masters, uh, yeah, you get to do a lot of group work, and you get to learn a lot of different stuff from your group mates. So that really works in your favor. Apart from that, there are a lot of career fairs that are organized by universities. It's not just about my current university, but almost every other university. They organize this kind of stuff throughout the year. And one most important thing uh, about this is that you need to start networking from the very beginning. So when you get to visit such career fairs, start talking to people who represent their company. So that's a really good way to start. So I would really encourage you to do that. So apart from that, Sweden is very well known for its startup culture. So I don't really need to talk more about it. That's self-explanatory. And about the other point, Maggie has already mentioned about personal contact with professors. They are really close, and then like it's very informal. Uh, the approach is very informal. You can go and talk to your professors whenever you want. So that really helps. Next slide. Okay, advantages of studying business in Sweden is one of the advantages is that you are exposed to the industries. You get to do live projects, as Maggie also mentioned. So with the help of these live projects, you first thing is that you get to have you start building your network, and the other thing is uh, you get to experience industry exposure while being a student. Okay. Apart from that, the class is very interactive. You can, as I mentioned, like you have group work, and people are there to help you. Your professors are there to help you. So it is very interactive. So the university takes care of its students, whether you are whether you need help with your CV or your cover letter, for example, when you're applying for internships or jobs, the university will definitely help you. Yep. Next. Okay, so Sweden, from my perspective, yeah, number one, almost everyone speaks English, so which works in your favor. The other thing is focus on sustainability. The moment you arrive in Sweden, you will notice what I'm talking about. people here talk a lot about sustainability. Here they focus on waste segregation, so which is very fascinating, especially for me. And in India, we don't do that. Well, it has recently started, but yeah. So it was very fascinating for me. So apart from that, you have amazing summers over here, and also cold winters, amazing summers. So you go to the lake and then go for a swim with your friends and do barbecue. So this kind of stuff you do, or go for downhill biking, for example. I do that with my friends almost every year. So cold winters, yes, it is extremely cold. The temperature goes to -15, or if you go to Lapland, it sometimes goes to minus 30, -40. So it is extremely cold. So it depends like where you end up. Yep, next. Yes, so Stockholm, for example, and Gothenburg, for example, they comprise of different a lot of islands. So if you are, for example, if you are living in these cities, so you can for a weekend getaway, you can obviously go to some island. For example, there's a very close island which is called Vaxholm, so from Stockholm. So you can obviously take the ferry and always go there. Also, if you are into hiking, you can go for hiking with your friends. You can leave in the morning and then come back at night, or you can go for a longer hiking trails up in the north. So talking about north, there's Lapland, and you can always go and visit Lapland and see the northern lights. And let me tell you guys, it is amazing. I have been to Lapland once, but I would love to go there again. The northern lights, it is very beautiful. So you should experience it. Yeah. Yeah. Also, the society is very progressive. So I haven't felt any kind of discrimination so far. So people are very accepting. So I must say that. Yeah. So yeah, talking about downhill biking. So this is when I went I went for downhill biking up in the north. There's a place called Järsa. So these are my friends from Linköping. So after that, it sort of became a trend, and we have been doing this every year. So yeah, talking about social life, every university has they have student organizations, and you can be a part of it and interact with more people. So it is also a way to meet people who are not in your program and interact with them and become friends with them. So it's a really great way to socialize. So talking about Linköping, for example, Linköping is a student city. So it has its campus. It has a small campus, and you can actually feel the campus life over there, because being also a very small student city, it used to take me like 15 minutes to get to the city center on bike. So which I won't be able to do that in Stockholm, for example. So yeah, during the weekends, you can obviously opt for doing some kind of sports, for example, squash or tennis when it is summer, or even badminton. Like you can do all sorts of sports. So after I came to Sweden, I actually started playing four different kinds of sports. So yeah, and one of them is downhill biking. So yeah. Next. Yes, so a part of the social life is banquet or sitting. So you can call it whatever you want. So it's not just about dressing up and going for dinner with your friends, but it's a lot more, because it's a lot more. Like sitting itself carries a lot. It means a lot to Swedish students. So you will experience it, because it's not just about eating, it's about representing your department and yeah, enjoying the night and socializing. This photo is from a Krawal, a fest. So you see a lot of people wearing different colors of overalls. So this red one is the M section, which I was part of, which was mechanical section, and this yellow overall, it was part of it was industrial engineering. So there was a tug of war game happening between them, and then yeah, industrial engineering students won. Yeah. So this happened in Linköping. Yep. So next. Yep. So for career support, the university will always help you in uh, improving your CV or helping you with your cover letter. So just if you come here and if you join a university, just go and talk to them. They will definitely help you. They are there to help you basically. Alumni network. So for example, Stockholm School of Economics, it has its alumni network has like 20,000 plus alumni. So it's really big. So I guess almost every university has such network. So take advantage of that. Get in touch with other people, and as I mentioned before, networking is the way forward. So just keep that in mind. And there's also, for example, at SSE, there's also another option, which is the mentoring program by SSE. So, for example, I have a mentor, and he lives in Germany, but he did his bachelor's from SSE, I think 20 years ago. But he's my mentor, and he's helping me with my CV and helping me find the right track and where I should be looking and what I should apply for. See, so that kind of program. And corporate partners of universities. So this also really helps you. Just for example, the corporate partners of universities, like when you're doing a project or a course, for example, or even if when you're doing a master thesis at a company. So the collaboration really helps in a way, I guess, at least from my experience, because I sort of I did my master thesis at Scania from Linköping. Scania in Södertälje. So, but these things really help you, and we did a lot of different projects during the course, and yeah, those were live projects. Yeah. Thank you. Next.
Great. Perfect. Thanks, Syed. There was a lot of really useful information. It's really interesting. You get to compare these like two universities in Sweden, Jönköping, which is a smaller city, and then Stockholm School of Economics, which is like right in the center of Stockholm, the biggest city in Sweden. So yeah, it must have been really interesting to compare. Perfect. So yeah, I just wanted to mention again, we have one more webinar after this one, which is on the application and admission process, and you should sign up for that one. And you can access all of our old webinars on our YouTube page, and you will be sent a link after this. And here are some resources for our websites. I'll come back to that later. But now I wanted to do some Q&A with you guys. So let's see what questions we have gotten. I think we had one question straight away for Maggie, but I'm going to open it up for Syed as well. And it's like to talk a bit more about your experience doing your internship. Like, how did it work finding this internship? Did the university help you? Was it a course unit that you had to do an internship? Or how did that work?
So for me, for my master's degree, it was mandatory to have the internship, and the university did not help in the beginning whatsoever. But they did say that if I haven't experienced it, or my friends haven't, but if you don't find an internship, they have a placement for you in research in our university. So basically, you help doctorants to write their thesis, and that would be your internship in a way. So there was a solution to that. In bachelors, it was also possible to do an internship instead of an exchange, but then also it would be on you to find it. So my university didn't provide so much help.
Great, thanks. How about you, Syed? Did you do any internship, or did you have a time to kind of work on any company or together with a company on a project? And how did your university help you?
During my previous master's, I only did the master thesis at Scania.
Right.
But the program that I'm doing right now, which is international business, it's actually a dual degree program. So the other degree is SEMS degree. So which and in order to, they have certain requirements, and for that I have to do an internship abroad. So since I'm from India, so I cannot do it in India, and since my host school is Stockholm School of Economics, so I can't do it in Sweden either. So it has to be in a third country. And university, I would say, is helping me in some ways because, for example, one is the mentor program. So I've talked to my mentor about it. Also, they have the CV lab, and we are, like I've approached them for working on my CV. And also, we have a separate portal where jobs are posted. So you can directly go there and then find out if there are any opportunities or not.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks a lot. Hope that answers the question. And of course, this differs a lot from degree to degree, university to university, but in general, there are a lot of opportunities for internships. And I might also mention that after you graduate from a program in Sweden, from a degree in Sweden, you get a chance to prolong your visa, your residence permit for 12 months, I believe, to stay on and look for a job or do an internship or work in Sweden. So that gives you some time to kind of try to get a footing in the work life if that's what you want after you graduate. So that's a great opportunity. Great. On to the next question. And let's see, it's about the current kind of corona situation and how that's affecting teaching. And the question is, if classes are conducted mainly online or in classroom, or if it's a mix. And I'll let you guys talk about your experience. Are you do you have all your classes online at the moment, or what's the situation? Syed, you can go first if you want.
Yeah, okay. So I came to Sweden in August. So in the beginning, it was hybrid solution. So we were having so half of the class was because we are 50 in our class. So half of them were used to be for present in the class, and then the others were online through Zoom. So, but since today, it's completely online. So yes, that's the situation right now.
Right. Yeah.
Because of the new recommendations. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What about for you, Maggie?
Well, because basically from September to January, we had the internship semester, so to say. So our courses were all online, and they lasted from September to January. So we could choose to have the internship anywhere, but in that time, and then the courses wherever it fit us. So for us, it was online anyways. And now we're gonna have our master thesis. And it's also, you don't have to really be at school for that either. So we were kind of lucky. All our classes that had to be in school were in school. And then when Corona started, we were abroad anyway, or doing our internships or something. So we weren't affected.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense. And in general, I mean, it varies a lot still in Sweden. Now, I think most classes are taught online as far as possible, but there's still some like more technical, practical programs where you might have labs on location. So it varies a lot. And I mean, for sure, we hope that next autumn, for the next start of next semester, or start of the academic year, that things will be more back to normal. But at this point, we just don't really know. So for those of you who are really curious, you should contact the university you want to apply to, and they'll be able to give you a bit more information and keep you updated when we go closer to the start of the next academic year. Yes, brilliant. Let's see here. We have a question, an interesting question from Camilio, which is about studying entrepreneurship in Sweden, a program related to entrepreneurship. And this person has looked at programs at many different universities. He is an entrepreneur and wants to immerse himself in entrepreneurship, hubs, accelerators, networking events, etc. So what kind of programs to choose? And it's difficult for us to recommend a specific. There are so many great universities, and specifically on this topic, from Malmö and Lund University in the south, all the way up to Luleå University in the north. And I think, the best overall kind of perspective from my end is that you check on our website and you can search for each program, and then you can kind of find all the programs and see which one is most relevant for you. But I'll let you guys, our students here, just talk a little bit about, like, how did you find, from just this perspective, entrepreneurship and kind of, fostering that kind of creative, environment. How did you find your universities to kind of help you with that?
Okay, so then I can start. So entrepreneurship is kind of a topic that in business administration is touched upon again and again. It's really important. And for instance, in my university, some programs like what I studied, marketing management, it wasn't so focused on the international thing. It was more focused on marketing management. Well, we had international management and international economics that were more international. So basically, the kind of entrepreneurship, you should really look into what kind of entrepreneurship you're looking at. If it's international or local, what sort of areas you want to improve most in yourself, and then choose. Like if you need marketing knowledge, go to marketing. If you need economics, go to economics, and so on. So basically, like, that's all I can say.
Yeah, great. That's really good. How about you, Syed?
Yeah, I think I completely agree with Maggie. But one thing to know which university is perfect for you is to go through the curriculum. For example, what all courses they're offering. So if it suits you, then I think you should go ahead and apply for it. For example, at SSE, I think they have a course, Masters in Business Management. I think they have a track which is dedicated to entrepreneurship. So maybe you can just go through the website, and you can you can go through the courses, what all courses are on offer, and then you can decide for yourself which one is the best for you.
Yeah, sounds great. Perfect. Okay. From one kind of question to a completely different one, we have a question on YouTube here, which I think is really interesting. So the question is there racism in Sweden? And Syed, you kind of touched on it in your presentation a little bit, like how you felt your experience being in Sweden, but I just wanted to hear your experiences or your like kind of observations in Sweden, because you've been in very international environments, and yeah, just talk about your experiences.
To be honest, like I never felt anything like that here in Sweden. So my experience has been very great, to be honest, which is also one of the reasons why I wanted to be back in Sweden. So yeah, for me, like, I don't know how to really answer that.
Fair enough. Sounds like a good experience, at least. Yeah. And Maggie, you're from a place very close to Sweden, but I'm not sure what your experience has been.
Yeah, so I'm lucky to look super Swedish. So people don't really, even when I speak English to them, they answer Swedish to me. So that's one thing. But regarding the racism part, I am so happy Syed hasn't experienced any of that, and it's amazing. And it's also actually super common to have it that way. Sometimes, yeah, there is certain hints of that, but they can really, this is kind of, not acceptable in the society. And it's an old way of thinking, and it's going away. And I think it should not be a concern whatsoever for new people coming, because we live in a modern, really open borders society nowadays. It's not a relevant thing anymore, I think.
Yeah, totally agree. That's great.
I think I can add something to that. A lot of people get, they hear a lot of stuff that, Swedes are very reserved, but the point is, like, and somehow they sort of take it as racism. Some people, because they might think, okay, like we can't, they don't talk to us and all that stuff. But the thing is, like, if you think that they are reserved, but I've also seen people making just one attempt and then just giving up and not making any more attempts to being friends with international people. So it's really difficult to blame somebody for this. So it has to be, it's a collective measure. So everybody has to take a step
Yes.
forward.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yes, okay, here's another good question. Well, actually, we had one quick question here. Where is Maggie from? So Maggie's from Lithuania and Syed is from India. It's a quick answer to that. And then another question for Maggie, and it's about working part-time. So Syed, if you have any experience on this, you can also add something. But Maggie, did you need to learn Swedish to get that part-time job at the warehouse, or was English okay?
So yeah, I did not need any Swedish for that. I did learn Swedish in the university. I had 2 small courses for Swedish for immigrant. Wait, no, that not yet. Just Swedish culture and language. 2 small courses for that, and then I started going to SFE, so Swedish for immigrants, and I learned a bit of that there. But I wouldn't say that was the reason I was employed there, because they still communicated with us in English. Of course, knowing Swedish is a merit wherever you go. And in the warehouse, some people didn't speak English, so I was lucky enough to be able to communicate with them in Swedish too, with my broken Swedish. But at that time, but it is possible to get it in English if you really look for it, but it's just harder.
Great, yeah. Syed, did you have any part-time job as well?
No, not when I was in Jönköping.
And I think that's well, I'm not entirely sure, but I think the most common is to not have a part-time job as a master or bachelor student in Sweden. And I think the degree in itself is kind of supposed to be or it's meant to be a full-time occupation. And then some students manage to study as well, which is great, but it's not really a guarantee, which could be good to keep in mind if you're coming to Sweden and you can't really assume to be able to find a part-time job, but it is a bonus if you manage to. Great. Here's a question about living, like accommodation. And so accommodation in general, it differs a lot, but in general, universities will kind of help international students out to find accommodation. And this is specifically about SSE. So for Syed, are there dorms at Stockholm School of Economics? Or what kind of accommodation was on offer for you as an international student?
I'm not sure if there are dorms or like corridor rooms on offer, but they do have apartments. So I was offered an apartment which was quite small in Huvudsta, I guess. But I decided to find an apartment on my own, and then I'm sharing it with 2 more people. They are also from my program. So one is from Germany and one is from Italy. So they do offer apartments, especially like I think the first preference is given to international students, international fee-paying students. And then if anything else is left, then I think they ask the Europeans, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's usually the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Maggie? As an EU student, did you also get help finding accommodation?
Yeah, I did get help finding accommodation. It was not necessarily something I wanted, for instance. It was really nice and they were really relatively good, because some people had worse experiences. They would be put really far away, or we 1 year had accommodation lack. But as Syed mentioned, the students coming from outside European Union always get an accommodation. Those who come from Sweden or inside EU can sometimes have more difficulties with that. But the university generally finds solutions for that. And not necessarily perfect for you, but something. But if you want something that's best for you, you have to look yourself. And it's a bit hard in Sweden with accommodation, especially in Stockholm. It's one big pickle to find accommodation in Stockholm. So yeah, I guess best is to rely on the university, and then never-ending effort from your own part.
Yeah, that's really good to push for that. And you really have to start looking from the very beginning. So it's good already when you're accepted, you go in on your university website and read about accommodation, and then you see what you need to do and get started on that as early as possible. But yeah, in general, you will get some kind of help from your university as an international student. So that's really good to know. Right. Here's an interesting question. So your experience in Sweden during being there during the kind of Corona pandemic, is social networking still easy now that you're much more online and not so much in classrooms? And networking, of course, is important for all students, but what do you think? Is it still something you managed to do? Maggie.
Okay, I'll start. Well, that's a really, really good question. It's definitely harder. You are kind of stuck with your own classmates, with people you know and you do projects with. I know that people that are in Jönköping still and studying, they live in their dorms, and there they get the communication, the maybe relationship building or something. But since most of it is online, a lot of people just choose to live in their own home country or somewhere else, and it really kind of it doesn't help with the relationship building. But you know, coronavirus isn't here forever. The vaccines are getting developed, so I don't think it's going to be a big issue for a long time.
Let's hope so. Syed, did you manage to do some networking? You've been here for a longer time as well. I mean, you both have been here before the pandemic, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, obviously it is difficult now, and times have changed. Earlier, when I was in Linköping, it was not the case, and then we used to meet almost every day. And now, since I came back to Sweden, in the beginning it was a hybrid solution, but then from today, all the classes moved to online. So for now, I don't have any experience regarding that, but because at least like we used to meet some people from our class, but now it's going to be difficult. So we don't really know what's going to happen. Yeah. Hopefully this is the situation will change soon.
Yeah, definitely. Best of luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's see here. Wow, so many great questions. I'll try to go through all of them, but we are coming in on the last kind of bit of the seminar. Let's see here. Just a quick question about the average kind of age of students in your programs and kind of years of experience. Here's a student who is 29 and running a tech startup for the last 6 years, and wondering if he can still apply. And totally, there's no age limit in Sweden. You can apply like whatever age you are, as long as you have the right experience. So it doesn't matter if you're older. And in Sweden, it's kind of loose. Students can sometimes wait quite a long time before they do their bachelor, master degree. A lot of students tend to go traveling right after high school, or maybe working for a while, and then they'll go on to do their program. But in general, the age, I guess, most students are slightly younger, and then there are some students that are slightly older. But what are your experiences, Syed and Maggie? What's the kind of average age in your classroom, you think?
I think the average age in my class is, I think around 24, 25, I guess. So like we have somebody who is 21, and also we have somebody who is 28. So 28, 29, it doesn't really matter how old you are, just apply if you want to learn. So because it's not just in our class, because in the previous year as well, there was somebody who joined when he was 28 or 29. So it doesn't really matter. Age is not a factor. Right. So as I said, like they don't discriminate here in Sweden. So like it's a very progressive society. So it is not going to hamper your chances. So if you have the skills, you have the experience and everything, you have the entrepreneurial mindset, for example, in case of business and economics and everything, then you will definitely get the opportunity.
Brilliant, thanks. How about the Jönköping, Maggie?
Well, I'll start with my bachelor's. So in my bachelor's, there were people from 18 to maybe 26, 27. That was about it. And I was one of the 18-year-olds. And then in master's, I am actually the youngest in my course. I'm almost 23 now. And one of my best friends in the class is 37. And then when I was still studying my bachelor's, I was living with a roommate who was 41. And he had a family back in Tanzania. So really, really wide variety of ages, but honestly, it just doesn't matter so much. I mean, some people have a lot of experience, some people have their own companies, and some people are sent by companies they're working in to study a master's degree here in Sweden. There's different cases. Some people are without any experience and that jump into master's straight away. So like Syed said, there's no discrimination. Everyone's the same, doesn't matter the age.
Great. Yeah. Wow, that's really an interesting mix in your classroom, all ages. Yeah. Super. Okay, let's see. Some more questions. So about learning Swedish language, I know we talked a little bit about it, but do you know what opportunities you have offered? You have been offered in your university? So sometimes the universities can offer Swedish courses, sometimes the municipality. What kind of opportunities did you guys have? Do you remember?
Okay, I can start on.
Yep.
So I had 2 courses in the university that were offered, and after I was finished with those courses, they suggested that we go to the municipality offered courses, so the SFE, and you just really apply for that, and they're for free. So of course the classes are mixed. There's older, there's younger people, but still, if you want to learn Swedish, all the resources are free and available for you.
Yeah,
great. Syed, you hadn't taken classes yet, right? No.
No, I was doing that in Jönköping, and then now also here at SSE, I'm doing that. Right. So, but yeah, so one thing to remember is that at SFE there's a really long queue. So if you want to learn Swedish, so just go there and apply as quickly as possible, I would say. So because there's a queue system wherever you go here in Sweden. So, but apart from that, whatever Maggie said, I think I agree with her.
Great. Yeah.
Because Swedish courses are free, and I think at every university it is free. So apart from that, you have SFE, where also it is free. So
yeah, brilliant. I just wanted to ask you guys what do you think the biggest difference if you compare studying in your home countries to studying in Sweden? I mean, I know maybe you haven't studied at university level in the same way, but if there's something that pops up to you, like the biggest difference, what would you say it is? Maggie, you were kind of starting on that topic with comparing Lithuania, Spain, and Sweden. But if you focus on kind of the learning experience or the classroom experience, what do you think the biggest?
I think the biggest one is how Syed and me also, we mentioned the teacher-student relationship. Everything's more relaxed, and this teacher doesn't really care if you study as long as you give the results. So basically, like in Lithuania, I remember being micromanaged, and here in Sweden, no one cares how long you take to study, whether you listen in the lectures. No one really cares about that. They care about you giving really good results only. So I think just I felt this respect towards the student and their way of working, because my way of working is so much different than most people. I can't focus day by day. I'm more of a procrastinator. So I'm not comfortable being pushed to study early, but I'm comfortable doing it my way and achieving things my way. And that's allowed in Sweden. That's acceptable. So I'm happy.
Great.
Yeah, to add to that, I feel here the focus is also on practical learning than theoretical learning. So back in India, it's all about theory, and I think I have a lot of friends from Germany, and then they have also said the same thing. So here it is more practical based learning. So which is amazing. So when I was doing mechanical engineering, I took some courses in automation. So we had very few courses. We had very few classes, but we had a lot of practical classes. So it was amazing. So that is a huge difference for me, and I love it this way.
Great. Yeah, that's really great input. I had a question about like staying on in Sweden to work after you graduate. You guys have already kind of touched upon the topic, but are you both planning to try and stay on and work in Sweden after you graduate?
Yes, that is the plan. But one thing that one should consider if you're planning to stay here in Sweden is that you need to learn the language. Although companies do say that like almost everybody speaks English, there's no doubt about it. But then for the social aspect, I think you still need to learn Swedish, especially in your professional career. It really helps you. Yeah, mainly that.
Yeah, brilliant.
And me too. I'm planning to stay and work here in Stockholm. I'm already hoping on one position that's I've nearly got. So a Tele2 executive program position. So it's a Kickstarter for your early career after I graduate from masters. And the other friends of mine, for instance, that the ones that finished their bachelors and started working, they're all over the world now, and a lot of them are in Sweden, most of them in Stockholm and Gothenburg, not Jönköping, because it's quite limited in the work opportunities in English, while Stockholm, Gothenburg, and maybe Malmö are more open to the English language. So yeah, it's possible. Everyone, if you want to, you can stay, and also because it's so international, it opens doors to all over the world, I feel like. So
Great.
Also about language, I feel what you want to study and in which field you want to work, that also makes a difference. For example, if you want to work in the production line, so then you definitely need to know the language. But if you, for example, want to work in the IT sector here in Stockholm, then the language is not a big, then Swedish is not a big, like it may not be a big part of your work life. But then it depends like which industry you want to work. Yeah,
that's a great point. Yeah, definitely. And it's always going to give you a kind of a competitive edge if you learn Swedish and the other applicants for a job only know English, then yeah, it's going to give you that extra bit. So, and also like Syed said, the social aspect and kind of getting more into the Swedish culture, it's of course going to help to know Swedish as well. So that's really interesting. Yeah. And we have so many questions and we're already a bit over time. We've had one last question, which is more general about the experience in Sweden. And I think that's going to be the last one. And it's about public transport. How does public transport work in Sweden? Like getting around the cities, getting to university from your housing. What's your experiences? Maggie.
Okay. So in Jönköping, it's really easy. The buses are, I think, from 5 a.m. to basically 12 in the evening. You can get places with no issue whatsoever. The taxis are a little bit more expensive, so as students we would try to keep on the buses. And one more thing that I think is really valuable to know, that on Wednesdays we would have these student parties in the evenings, and those student parties would end at 2 a.m. And the Jönköping kommun, the municipality, they actually make two buses go to one further, like more outside Jönköping area where a lot of students live. So they created two buses that go there just for students to get home safely on Wednesdays. So that's how municipalities care basically about the infrastructure and about the students. So in Jönköping, there was absolutely no problem with that.
Great. And Syed, Stockholm is a bit of a bigger city.
Yeah, and I don't really know when the buses stop, when it's the last bus to my place. But I feel like whenever, like even when it is at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., I always find something. I take the metro because there is a direct bus going from right outside my building to the university, but it takes like 40 minutes. But then like if I take the bus in the beginning and then take the metro later, so it takes like 20 minutes. So it depends like which way is faster and better. But yeah, I mean, public transport is the best way to commute here in Sweden, at least, I would say. Or whether, for example, if it is a smaller city, for example, Linköping, then I would always take my bike. So it
Right.
depends which city you are in. And in Stockholm, public transport is it's really great. So I don't really have any complaints.
Yeah, great. Perfect. I'm just going to share my screen here for the last minute, and there we go. So yeah, do visit our website, and we have all the information that we shared today, basically, and more is available on our website. And you can see here our YouTube link, and that's where you can find this video and all the other webinars we did. You can find them after the webinars if you missed anything, if you want to revisit anything. And also you can sign up for the last webinar we're doing on the admission and application process on December 1st. So great. Thank you guys so much for joining us, Maggie and Syed. That was really, really great sharing your experience. Super. And thanks all in the audience who joined us today. I hope you will join us in the future as well. I hope you all stay safe and healthy, and I hope like this kind of weird situation is over soon and we can all resume to sort of normal life again. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Anything you want to add, guys? Syed and Maggie?
No, thank you so much for having us here. And if anyone has any questions for me specifically, feel free to email me if you have that opportunity, or to ask for my email, and then I can help you directly. It's no problem.
Yeah, thank you for having us. And yeah, same, like if you have any questions for me, then please drop an email, or you can contact me on LinkedIn, wherever you like.